All right, graphing the parabola defined by this, f of x equals a times the quantity x minus h all to the power of 2 plus k. This is what we call vertex form. I feel like there should have been fireworks after that. In any case, the parabola has the same shape as y equals x squared, which is just, like we saw in that last one, it can be up or it could be down. Smiley face, frowny face, however you want to put that. But the good news for us is that when it's in this format, you see here we've got h and k in this expression. Those would be numbers. And those numbers represent the vertex, which is what this is saying right here. It takes on the ordered pair h, k. Now, it does need to be minus, so if I saw a plus right there, I would know that I'm really subtracting a negative. And if this was a minus k right there, then I would know that the k is negative as well. But if it's in this format, at the very least, they're telling us not only where the vertex is, or if we can switch it into this format, it forces us to see the vertex, which you will need when graphing these on the assignment, but it also tells us where the axis of symmetry is, which, again, if we're doing this by hand, like I'm going to be doing, it should help. And then you see right here that the axis of symmetry, it's x equals h right there. That's because you just, remember the vertex, you take the x value, and that's the equation is x equals whatever that x value is in the vertex. Now the same thing though, like we saw on the last couple slides, if it's in standard form, the a value, if it's positive, the parabola is going to open up, which would be the smiley face. If the a is negative, the parabola will be opening downwards. So a frowny face, like maybe that second try wasn't as, well, it's probably about as good as that first one. Now, the rest of this isn't really important for right now, other than, I mean, if you wanted to like go on to some kind of online graphing calculator and be like, I'm gonna mess around with these equations and I'm gonna take h and I'm gonna move it to the left, I'm gonna make it negative, I'm gonna make it positive and see what happens, you can. It's a decent activity if you're actually trying to understand this, but if you're trying to just get through class, this is good enough. The k as well, as this goes up, then it usually shifts the graph up. If it's negative, it usually goes down. And then again, a will also depend on the contraction or expansion, meaning if a can make it thin like this one, but it could also make it kind of wide like that. These last three aren't so important because technically speaking, I mean, if it's in this format, you have the vertex, but you can always just use x and y. You can choose your own x values, plug it in, and then see what y value comes out. So the old-fashioned way of graphing, which usually we showed with a table, so you know, something like this. Remember, said you got x and y's, and then you chose your own x's and y, and then you found the corresponding y values, right? So you can say, well, x is -2, -1, 0. This goes back to like 990 stuff, or even 920. But again, I'm just choosing those values, then I just replace the x's in this equation with these x values that I've chosen and find the corresponding y value. If I know where the vertex is, I really only have to go one direction, and then I can just reflect it, which may not make sense right now, but hopefully it will. This one, we're not asking you to graph. Just can you tell where the vertex is and which way does it open? Let's start with the vertex because the format, let's see if I can write this in, should look something like this, okay? So let's just, again, just working on the vertex right here, h and k. So this is x minus 7. Remember, it's x minus, so if it's minus already, we just take the 7 there as our x value. So it's a positive 7 right there. Okay, but here next I see it's minus 5. And so plus k, this could be like plus -5. And that's important too because then the corresponding y value is -5. So this is our vertex. It didn't ask for it, but the equation for the axis of symmetry would be x equals 7. Because now that we have the vertex, that axis of symmetry equation, very easy to obtain. But then it says, well, which way does it open? Well, that depends on the a value, but it's not showing one. So you got to be careful. Hopefully by this time we understand that there is one there. No pun intended. You just can't see it. Yeah, it's 1. So, and that 1, by the way, is positive. So since it's a positive 1 right there, a is positive 1, that means that this one is going to open upward. It opens upward. Upwards, whatever. Now the question is, now that we have a vertex, could you actually put that vertex on a graph? And I hope you could, because just graphing an ordered pair at that point. Now, is that the only ordered pair you need? Of course not. But we need at least this one so we can find where the tip of that parabola is.